All right, so this time we're going to be talking about a pistol that I've been trying to get into my collection for about 40 years. It has finally come to fruition, and I am excited to bring that to you. We are going to be talking about the Mauser C96 coming up. Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. This time we are going to be talking about the C96 Mauser broom handle. This is a pistol that I have wanted in my collection for quite some time, and I finally have one in my hands through some help of two really good friends. We'll talk about that here in a second. This is going to be the Red 9, so this means that this is chambered in 9mm parabellum, 9mm Luger, however you want to look at it. And unfortunately, this is a mixed serial numbered version of this pistol, but to be frankly honest with you, I'm okay with that. We're going to shoot this today. We're going to test it out. We're going to put about 40 rounds through it and just have a good time. There's going to be some things that I'm going to talk about this particular example and why it isn't necessarily quote-unquote a good example, but at the end of the day, I did not spend thousands of dollars on this thing. I got a really good deal from my buddy Gun Quality Enforcement. He ended up with it in a trade. He was going to see if a mutual friend of ours, Greg's Gruns, was interested in it, and he said, no, you need to call Mark right now. He will buy it from you. And sure enough, I did. I now have this in my collection. Now, the question is, why is this kind of the holy grail of pistols in my collection? And that is because I am a Star Wars nerd. And if you guys know, this is the base pistol for Han Solo's DL-44 blaster. And ever since I saw Star Wars as a very young kid and started to understand what his blaster was actually a clone of or a modification of, I had to know more about this. I started watching some spaghetti westerns with my dad. These would pop up from time to time. And then as I got older, I started seeing these in Red Dead Redemption. I also ended up seeing them in movies like Sherlock Holmes and Game of Shadows. This played a kind of a key feature in that movie as well. So naturally, I had to have one of these in my collections. And it finally is here. So let's talk about this. The Mauser broom handle has been synonymous with World War I. It is something that a lot of people associate with World War I, as they should. This was one of the most viable options, not the, but one of the most viable options for a repeating pistol back in that day. Now, a lot of people think that the German military ended up adopting this, and they would be partially correct, but not the way they think. The German military actually ended up adopting the Luger in 1908, and then as World War I came about and the Germans ended up getting further and further into that war, they decided that they needed to plus up some of the sidearms that they had. The Luger just was not cutting it as far as production goes, so they ended up contracting with Mauser for some C96, specifically the Red 9. They ended up purchasing about 200,000 of them, and they started to make it to the battlefield around 1918. Looking at this particular example, the most predominant serial number on this, even though it's a mixed serial number, would put this in production somewhere between 1915 and 1921. The fact that it is a Red 9 would also signify the fact that it would have been produced 1917, 1918, and may have, I'm not sure, I can't verify it, but may have saw time in the field, in the trenches with the German military. One of the things that we will see is here on the barrel extension, there is a proof mark that is a crown mark, meaning that it was issued into the German military, so that's a good telltale sign. However, there's some things on this that you can definitely tell it's been refurbished. Obviously, it's mixed serial number, so it's not exactly correct and so on and so forth, but I can tell that this has been refinished at some point in time because the end of the barrel is blued, and that would have been in the white. In addition to that, some of the wear around the magazine is not consistent. There's no definite wear here on this lug. So there's a couple of different issues when it comes to that. It has been refinished, I get that. Additionally, the adjustable rear sight goes up to 1,000 meters, and that would have been indicative of the 7.65 version, not the Red 9. So this rear sight is not the correct rear sight. It should have been a 500 meter rear sight. So there's a number of different things that I see with this that would tell me that it has been messed with by somebody in the past. However, this is approximately 100 to 110 years old, and I think it's actually pretty cool. I'm glad that it's in my collection. It's not perfect, I get that, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it, especially for what I paid for it. Naturally, this is going to be a top-fed, stripper clip-fed design. It is chambered, like I said, in 9mm, and again, it was one of the first examples of a repeating pistol at the turn of the century, one of the more viable options. So that is another piece that I find very, very interesting. But enough with that, let's go shoot it. So when I purchased this from my buddy, I will tell you that this is all that it came with, but I have since been able to pick up this shoulder stock / holster setup. And if you know anything about the C96, you will know that this will fit right into here and is stowed and carried this way. It does also come with a cleaning tool here, as well as a pouch here that would have been meant for an additional spring and follower for you to do some field maintenance. So there is that. Now, I will have to say that, number one, this is all reproduction. So I purchased this from a company called Sarco, which has a lot of really cool, milsurp accessories and items and frames and slides and stuff like that from various different types of pistols, like 1911s and stuff like that. But they've also got some reproduction stuff. So I naturally had to get one of these. One of the things that I will still need to do is I will need to file this lug here for it to fit onto the C96. I have not yet done that. But as you can see, if I put this on here, it's going to bind up right about there, which means that according to Sarco, I will need to go ahead and file this down just a little bit so that I would have the stock set up. So that's something else that needs to be done. I haven't got to it yet, but you know, we'll do a follow-up video, see if I can get some additional information when it comes to this particular setup. So there it is, how it would be carried on your person, more than likely up front right here. Not a very comfortable carry, I can tell you that, but more than likely would have been set up in either a cross draw or obviously on the hip for you to be able to actuate the button on the stock to access the pistol. So not 100% clone correct, but very close, and I have, again, just been ecstatic that this is in my collection. Again, I want to take a second to say thank you to Gun Quality Enforcement and Greg's Gruns for collaborating to get this in my hand. Hopefully, I've got it figured out how I can collaborate with them on this video, so if you're seeing it, please go ahead and subscribe to their channels. That is the least that I can do to say thank you to them for allowing me to be able to get something that I've always wanted into my collection. So that's pretty much going to cover it for this video. I do appreciate you guys swinging by. Again, go ahead and subscribe to Gun Quality Enforcement and Greg's Gruns. If for some reason I can't figure out how to do the collaboration, you guys can also find them in the pinned comment as well. There's tons of other information in there if you guys are interested, and check that out. With that being said, we will catch you guys next time. As always, freedom through strength. We'll catch you guys later. Here comes high five. Bye, y'all.